habits. Don't want no
West of the Rockies. CS E-Drivers, you're on the air. All right, guys, we're almost live here. We're gonna go. Here we go. What's going on, guys? Robert here, BP News, once again, live with you, breaking down the news, breaking it out there so you guys can all see it. Actually, you're all looking at it too, just with me. We're all trying to figure out what's going on. And it does look like it's hitting the fan. I mean, I'm just waiting for guillotines to be brought out here any moment. It's like it fits into the biblical end time prophecy scenario. We're going to be in an environment where, they're going after people, literally chopping their heads off. I think the chopping of the head off thing is interesting because Trump has talked about that a number of times. He said he loved to study about medieval times when they chop people's heads off. And I don't know if that's his idea of like keeping control, because when you make threats and you blow your stack. He talked about blowing his stack the other day, and he didn't have a voice because he was yelling so much. I mean, I can just see I wish I was like a little fly on the wall where I could just listen to. I can just imagine Trump just literally enraged. That's his personality. I can see through the glitz and the glamour and all the happy talk, hopium, and the schmoozing kind of mindset that he has, to that enraged inner core that desires anything and everything to get to the top, whatever it takes. He's going to get his way. And if you stand in his way, there's an enraged soul that I can just see. Just like that Illuminati card that shows him it's a picture of Trump. I mean, if you ever seen that Illuminati card, that Illuminati game, I should say, that shows the different cards and the pictures. There's a picture of one that looks just like Trump. And he looks just enraged, and, when you threaten, especially if you're a person of great influence and power, like a president of the United States would be, to start saying and leveling these types of threats. Now, I understand, when you start bringing that kind of influence through conversations of very high influential people like politicians that are, representatives or senators, and they're talking about disobeying the military. They're talking about, they're not necessarily talking about disobeying the military. Well, they're saying that you disobey illegal orders. Now, why would they get upset about that? Is there anything wrong with disobeying an illegal order? Yeah, you would want the military to disobey illegal orders, but to even bring up the question, to even bring up the thought in the midst of the political chaos that's already unfolding everywhere around the world, not to mention here at home in earnest. I mean, you're talking like pouring gasoline on the fire, and I can understand why they're saying treason, but are they going to literally put them to death? I mean, literally, that's what the consequence of treason is. It's death, right? Or life imprisonment or something like that. Are they going to literally go after these politicians? Are they, or not? Well, they are politicians, but these congressmen, congresswomen, are they going to put them in jail? Are they going to put them to death? I mean, you're talking about Trump saying literally treason will require the death penalty. I mean, like, it's really out there. And I think that it's causing a lot of conversations. And I think a lot of people are really uptight to the highest levels inside of their own souls because of what they see happening. You know what it is to me when I sit back and watch and analyze? What I see happening is I see people suffering. Now, albeit there's a lot of people taking advantage. Like I said, there's a lot of people taking advantage of the situation with free money and open borders and, jobs prolific that many that were illegal taking advantage of. But our economy was based. It's kind of like the economy is based on a debt credit system, a debt system. And you're basing your economy on illegal activity. Well, when you take away all that illegal activity, what happens? Well, the whole country begins to teeter and totter, and you need a dictatorial or a strongman or some kind of new system that's going to be coming in that's going to be austere. It's not going to care about the suffering, because that suffering is just part of remedying the problem. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we need to get these. We need to get our workforce back in order, so it doesn't matter. We're going to deregulate. It doesn't matter if you're a child. Get out there and work 20-hour days. We got to get our country back in order, or we're going to all die. So no more regulations. Let's just do the worst things we can do, just like they do in China, because we need to compete, or else we're going to be destroyed, right? So people are like, well, I guess it's okay if we're going to be destroyed. I guess it's okay to give up, what we were used to, the cushy lifestyle and, the happy talk and that we're the best country in the world because we're moral and we have all kinds of moral high ground that we go around telling everybody what to do. And now we have to do it in order to survive, not just to compete. Well, not just to, dictate from our lofty, ivory tower, because our dollar dominates the whole global economy. We can do whatever we want. That doesn't happen anymore because our economy is not dominating the globe anymore. So now we can't do that. It's kind of like you used to be the big dog on the block and nobody would challenge you or dare to challenge you, but now you're being challenged. And now you have taken a couple of shots and you're wobbling because you've got caught, knocked in the jaw. Just like Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the jaw. Okay, so America's been hit a few times and we're weak. Though we try to play we're strong. It's kind of like that whole art of war, right? act strong when you're weak, and we act weak when you're strong. But what is America doing? We're blustering, we're boasting, we're acting like we're strong, but we're probably very weak, and I think we really are. If you really look at what's going on, that doesn't mean that we don't have military equipment and power and everything else, but I think we're being outsmarted by the rest of the world right now. The rest of the world sees us as big bullies, and they've seen us as a corrupt institution that has been pushing its will upon the, I mean, you can say there's justification for what we've done in many different ways because we see it a certain way, and it caters to our pride and our ego and our desire to craft a narrative, but we're not in their shoes. We don't understand. Just like these people that are in the country that are poor, oh, they might have a nose ring, oh, they might have, tattoos, and they're liberals. Okay, they're liberals, but there's a lot of Republicans out there that are suffering too, and you have to look at the big picture because what's going on right now is going to affect all of you in suburbia. If people begin to lose it, then they don't have nothing left to lose. They're going to lose it. Okay? They're losing it because they're being gaslit. They're telling everybody, and I'm going to just say this, they need to be more austere. Maybe they need to fast. Maybe they need to, suffer a little bit. Maybe they need to, tighten up their belt. But are they going to do that? I guess this is where the law comes in and starts. That's why they're ushering out the military. That's why all the states are now getting ready for quick response National Guard troop teams to go out to anywhere there's trouble in the United States. You know why? Because I have a feeling people are about to rise up. Now, I don't in any way advocate for that, and I don't think it's right. And I think that people need to really start helping each other in the country, and there needs to be some accountability, and there needs to be transparency, and there needs to be honesty coming from the top. Because what's happening is people are feeling, even though they're probably taking advantage of the system, some people are, they're going to use it to their advantage. When people start rioting, everybody starts rioting because they say, oh, I'm pissed off. I just want to vent. Or I'd like to see the system collapse because we're not a part of that higher echelon. We're the little people. We're all being oppressed. That's that poor mentality, right? That mindset that's always thinking they're victims. And then there's also those that are really suffering and they can't find a job or they can't, feed their families. They're gonna go out to try to find what they want to get. They're going to get what they deserve. They're going to go out there and try to, get as much as they can during the chaos. They're going to take advantage of it. You got people doing it with many different motives. You probably got people in our country that are foreign terrorists in mass and probably in cells everywhere, planted for this very moment. And I think that's where we're at. We're at that moment. And they keep telling us on the news that everything is fine. They're crafting this image. I mean, just look at what they're saying. I mean, just as a good example, Pam Bondi with this whole Epstein thing and Trump doing a 180-degree reversal and then pretending like he's all on top of it. And then he was heading this whole thing up the whole time and saying that you're crazy for even saying that there's even a reason for why they need to investigate. Now there is something that they need to investigate. And yeah, it's all the Democrats now. What? It's literally, it feels like you're listening to someone that's crazy talking to you. But you know what it is? It's a reflection of what's going on in the society at large. Trump is a reflection of what's going on at large in society. And both liberals and Democrats are going to have to pay the price because this is who God put over all of us. And if you're not ready for what's coming, the crazy that's about to be unleashed, well, then you didn't see it coming and you're really surprised now. But I'm going to show you guys some footage of just average people and what they're saying is happening and just looking at the prices in the stores. This is just going to be a little montage. And yeah, you can make fun of these people because they're liberals or, but listen to really what they're saying. There's real liberals out there that are probably in dire straits. And there's real Republicans out there that are in dire, and then there's real people out there that aren't political at all, that are suffering, because I think the middle class is going away. Now you're going to have poor or rich, right? It's everything is being polarized, and war is coming. The economy is collapsing. Have you seen Bitcoin? Okay, Bitcoin is another indicator. Don't go according to the stock market, because the stock market is all being manipulated anyway. It's kind of like the media manipulates your perceptions. Everything's fine. It's the golden age. You've never seen our economy roar back. It's amazing what's going on. Yeah, it's amazing for the small percentage of people that have money because they're getting richer, but not for the most of Americans that are kind of in that middle, lower middle, even the upper middle class are falling down. They can't even understand how anybody can even survive because they're barely making it with what they used to be used to. Right? Everybody's getting used to a new normal, right? Everybody's having to get used to a new normal. So here we go. I want to show you guys this, and I'll kind of add my thoughts to what I think is this lady's look is just absolutely crazy. You got to see this. So, and what the heck is going on here? Oh shoot, I got this thing on. Okay. So here we go. I want to show you guys this. This is so funny. Look at this lady's face here. Look at those eyes, man. Look at those eyes. That just happened to be the thumbnail. But we're going to look at this, and I know the very first right out the gate just makes you think, oh yeah, liberal dummy, she deserves it. She looks like she's she's got a bold nose ring, and she's got something pierced through her lips. Okay, yeah, I understand. Hey, we can say, and she's got a short haircut. She looks, she like many conservatives would say, well, she deserves it. Look at her. Look at the way she looks. And that's fine. I mean, you can judge whatever you want. But I want you to see the rest of this montage. The rest of the montage is very telling, because these are all stories. And I'm going to tell you what, there are reams and reams of videos all over social media where people are saying this. This isn't just an isolated, somebody went out and looked and found this one or this one. No, there's thousands of people making videos like this every day now, okay? So you can't dismiss it. It's kind of like them saying, oh yeah, we're going to save you. We're putting remdesivir protocol, and we're going to put you on a ventilator, and yeah, this is very serious. This is very serious. Everybody's dying. So, but really what they're doing is they're facilitating the death. They're actually capitalizing on people's fear. This is the same thing. That's the gaslighting we're talking about. Gaslighting. We're being gaslit, guys. We're being gaslit. It's like someone that's crazy telling you you're crazy, and you're trying to make you to believe it. And then they got enough people. They're crazy enough. They're like a fox, right? They're crazy like a fox, but they got enough people with them to enforce the power to make you have to believe what they're saying. It doesn't matter what is reality. It doesn't matter what's really right. It just matters about raw power. And what is raw power? Money, right? And how do you create money? Well, you just create it out of thin air because, hey, we got a hot, roaring economy, and, perceptions are everything. It's kind of like when Trump, and I'll give you an example. Trump went bankrupt 7 or 8 times, but he said he made money during the whole time. Why? Because his brand saved him. His brand. It was just his brand, his name. His brand was worth something, what people perceived it to be, right? Your economy is only as strong as the confidence in that actual money. When the confidence is gone, your economy collapses, right? So you keep talking positive, you keep talking hopium, you keep talking big, and it doesn't matter if you can back up your talk as long as you believe it. But when you stop believing and everybody else stops believing, well, then the king has no clothes. He's naked, right? You can't tell the king that he doesn't have any clothes. I'm sure people can't even tell Trump what they really think that are close to him, even though he looks like a complete idiot half the time when he talks, because he does. He doesn't have that critical thinking that he's got people where he can trust, that he doesn't even want them to tell him what's really going on. Oh yeah, sir, you look really great. Even though you've got orange, sun-baked, whatever that is that you put all over your skin, and you got white circles around your eyes, maybe you should have rubbed it in there between your eyelids so that it kind of evens out. It doesn't make you look like like a raccoon or something. But anyway, let's go ahead and listen to this. I just see so many inconsistencies, and so many people don't want to even look at it. And they think, oh my gosh, you just got no. What's coming is terrible because of this. It's not because of what I'm saying. It's because of the reality of what's going to hit the fan. Okay, but here we go. I mean, anyway, let's look at this and we'll go into it.
I just want to say that it's wild that as a 2-income household, my husband and I have come to the realization we can't afford groceries right now. Like, just straight up can't afford groceries. Because if we buy groceries, then we either won't be able to pay our rent or our electric bill, because both of those come out of this pay cycle and they will take the entire pay cycle. That's bonkers. That's so wild. We have 2 incomes and we cannot afford to eat, and we don't even have kids.
I want to ask you this question. Why is it that right now everybody is waking up to this reality? Why is it that all of a sudden now everybody's waking up to this reality? Why? Okay, I'm telling you, thousands. You're going to see videos here where people are in the store and they're picking up packages of meat that normally would have cost like, $15, $20 at the most. They're like $80, $70, $80. Like for just a small little thing of packages of meat, it looks like ground beef is like $20 a pound. Like, what's going on? What is going on? And this is not just one person that's doing this. This is like in different stores. People are making videos about prices just skyrocketing. I mean, like really, normally what it would cost you like maybe $70 for 3 or 4 bags of groceries. Now it costs you $300. $300, $350. That would have cost you like $100 before, maybe 100, 120, 150. Now it's like double the price. You can't, that's unsustainable. Okay, it doesn't matter if they give you $1,000 back on your tax returns. Wow, they were talking about that today. Trump's going to give you $1,000 back on the tax returns. You're going to have $1,000. Wow, that's going to like take care of 2 weeks worth of inflation that you're sustaining now on a daily basis. But hey, gas prices are low. Wow, does that make you feel better? Hey, we took care of the other outcry. Eggs, that's all better now, right? Eggs and gas, that's all. Now shut up and be quiet. Don't look at everything else. Everything else is out of control. But hey, we took care of this and we took care of that. We're giving you $1,000. So shut up. Now we said we we're going to give you $5,000 at the beginning, but we didn't find enough things. The Doge did not find enough money. There was supposed to be $1.5 trillion, supposedly, that Elon was going to find. And we're going to give you guys all $5,000 stimulus checks. But that's not going to come because you know why? There wasn't that much money. And I got mad at Adam, and that was my excuse. Okay, I can't give you guys that $5,000. Every American citizen was supposed to get $5,000, right? Oh, now they're going to promise you $2,000. Is that going to come? No, that's not going to come either. But you're going to get $1,000 now. So it's going all the way down. Like, hey, $5,000, $2,000. Now it's only $1,000. Right? That's what the Levitt lady said today. She's like, oh yeah, you're gonna get $1,000 on your. It's amazing. You're just gonna have so much great extra money now. $1,000 on your next tax return. Isn't that great? Trump's delivering. It's delivering low gas prices. Best low gas prices ever. Well, that's great. That's great. Low gas prices. That's awesome. But what does that mean? It's not making up for the tens of thousands of dollars that people are having to pay extra every year. That's not making up for it. Okay, it doesn't equal. That's another gaslighting technique. Okay, it doesn't make sense.
It's literally just the 2 of us, and we can't afford to eat with 2 incomes. That is just. But I mean, I guess. That means we won't have to wash dishes because our dishwasher is still broken, as it has been for 2 months at the place that we pay so much in rent. Wild.
I'm about to shit a literal brick right now. I'm at Food Lion. These prices are f***ing insane. Boneless beef chuck steak, $82.99. 0.83 and $99.99 a pound. Look at this. Look at this. This is crazy. That's f***ing insane. Hey, I got a question. Is this for real? Like, me and my husband are arguing over it to see if that's a legit price or is it messed up. I know they went up on meat like hardcore. but I was like, is that real?
I mean, I'm not.
Right?
It doesn't seem. It seems a little high to me.
That does. Well, see, there's like 3 or 4 of them over there that are all $80-something.
I guess it must be. I mean, I don't work in.
I know prices is high, but damn.
Well, we have officially reached the I can't afford cream cheese stage of capitalism.
So it really hit me today while getting groceries how expensive things are getting. I got 3 bags of groceries and it was $105. I got a pack of ribeyes, the value pack that was $30. That was kind of the most expensive thing out of the bunch. A package of cookies, 2 loaves of sourdough, some Parmesan cheese, 2 things of the cheapest pasta I could find, and then some Boursin cheese and cherry tomatoes. And it was $105. I don't know how people are surviving. I don't know why it just hit me today. I live by myself, so, maybe it just doesn't really hit me as often as people with families, but I really feel for you. It's the overall to give to others right now. Now would be the time to do it. Coming in, just said, I live alone, so
I bought, let me do 50-50 custard today.
Affect me as much as someone that has a family. So if you have a little bit of extra, now is the time to do it.
So I went to the grocery store today and to understand my dynamic. I have a 50-50 custody and we do week to week. So I have 2 teenage boys, or one soon to be a teenager. And I spent food only. I didn't buy any non-food items, and we eat fresh food. I don't buy a lot of box stuff, processed foods. A lot of fruit and yogurt and eggs, milk, healthy stuff. $350. $350. I don't even know if it'll last me the week.
Now, that's true. If you try to buy things that are actually good for you, it's going to be real expensive. But if you buy the crap that's killing you, it's a little cheaper, but it's going up. It's really high in price, and they're shrinkflation. It's all in boxes, and it's packaging. It looks bigger. They puff it up. They put air into it, but they put less toxic food in it. So you're not getting as much toxic food. Maybe they should, if they really want to kill everybody off quicker, they should put more in there. And, just like they were trying to give away vaccines before, they weren't charging you, and they were actually trying to give you money to take the vaccines. Remember they were trying to give you money. It was $100 at one point, and then they bumped it up to $1,000 toward the end. They were trying to give you everything, like whatever you want, whatever your weakness is, if it's hamburgers, or if it's candy for the kids, or toys, or stuffies, or sex addicted people. Well, we'll give you like pass to the Hustler Mansion. You get a free club pass, or you're addicted to gambling. Well, we'll give you free scratch your cards. Is that good? Yeah, you take that vaccine. It's good for you. And you got. Addiction to like weed or drugs. Hey, joints for jabs. We'll give you joints. We'll give you fresh marijuana. How's that? Will you take some now? Sure, go ahead. Just take all that poison food, and we'll even give it to you. They should be doing that. I mean, if they really want to kill off people, I just think. But anyways.
And I was just talking with my ex-wife, and I was like, what do you spend? Because I think I'm doing it wrong. And she told me, and it's about the same. So if we were still together, we would be spending $1,700 a month just in food. This doesn't include all the other household items I typically buy elsewhere. That's crazy.
I usually don't do a TikTok in a grocery store, but it's after church and everybody's shopping. So I said, well, I'll make some, ground meat and pasta later today. See that?
Look at her eyes.
$27.76 for 3 pounds.
I always say crazy eyes are when you have whites all the way around your pupil. That's when you got crazy eyes. There's something going on there. When you got whites all the way around your eyeball, that's when you start wondering, is this person, what's going on with this person? Maybe her eyes are bugging out of her head because she can't believe that a little bit of ground beef is literally like $30.
Pounds of ground meat. Oh my God. Looks like we're going to have to start eating a lot more carbs. Or maybe going vegan.
No more carbs. You're going to have to eat the bugs. And you will be happy and you will own nothing, because what they're doing right now is this is why Bill Gates is buying up all this farmland, is they're getting ready to produce lab-grown meat, which is probably going to, I mean, they're literally growing meat. They're growing it. It's not even real. Or it's some kind of, it's like cancer. Like, you know how you can grow cancer in these, well, they're like growing this beef or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. And they're making it into stuff that tastes kind of like meat. Not only that, but they're giving you bugs. With exoskeletons on the bugs, it's not supposed to be eaten. It's bad for you. It's toxic. But still, a lot of protein in there. You had to eat it. You could survive. But hey, get ready for the bugs, because they said that you're going to eat some bugs and you're going to be happy. You're going to own nothing. And you're going to be herded into these digital prisons.
I mean, thank God it's just me and my husband, but wow. These are like $30 a pack. Unbelievable.
Gotta be effing kidding me. This is what I used to pay for my medium-sized coffee. This is the small can now. This is my...
And that's true. I mean, we get the Folgers ones too sometimes. When in the past we've got kind of stocked up on them when they were like $6-7 for the big one. And look at it, it's $21. Yeah, like I went to one of the stores I go to to get some oil, like some olive oil, right? Real olive oil. You know what they're doing now is they're putting olive oil, and they'll put it all in big letters, and it'll be in a nice bottle, and it'll say olive oil, but it's cut with canola oil, which you don't want to be drinking that stuff. Canola oil. So they don't put the canola oil or the seed oil in there, because seed oils are very bad, toxic, especially when you're using it with cooking and stuff. You shouldn't be eating or drinking any of that in your food. No seed oil. But they'll put the price lower to make you think, oh, wow, this is amazing price for olive oil. It says extra virgin on it real big, olive oil, but it's all deceptive packaging, right? So when you do go, I went to the store and I was looking at this olive oil in like a half gallon. I think it was like, I can get them online for like, I don't know, 25, 30 bucks, 25 bucks. They wanted 80 bucks, literally 80 bucks. That used to cost right around 20 bucks. Now it's gone up in price. Obviously, if you're going on to buy it in bulk or something, you're buying it at a good price online. But still, the stores are raising prices like absolutely insane.
Are you serious?
If my household is struggling to budget for groceries and then stay within that budget, and I'm telling you that I didn't go to the grocery store and buy a bunch of lobster tails and name brand foods and throw them in the cart. No, I very specifically said in that video that I had my bean burrito budget ready to go. I went to the grocery store expecting to only buy the most basic food I needed to get by for a week. And I still blew my grocery budget out. Like, I spent almost like twice as much as I expected to spend on groceries. Like, groceries are unsustainably priced. If I am struggling to buy groceries with 2 full-time adult incomes at my disposal, and I'm struggling with the rising cost of food and being able to balance my budget, being able to save the money that I need to save for emergencies, for retirement, for my health, right? Save the money that I need to save and also live today, that they're not like those things are not compatible. They're not sustainable. And if I'm struggling, what is a senior on fixed income doing? What is a young person that's working a low wage job? What is a disabled?
What are all the gangs in the inner city going to do? What are the gangs going to do? What are the low income people going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to rise up, and they don't have a whole lot of constraints already as it is. And they've already said what they're going to do. And I already know what they're thinking. So all I'm saying is suburbia, yeah, you're struggling, but you're going to struggle a lot more when the crime rate breaks through the roof. And Trump's quick response National Guard is coming to your city to try to rescue you because everything's in chaos. The police can't handle it. I think that we're about to see something huge go down within the country. That's why they're designating Antifa. They're using that as a pretext to just arrest anybody that's protesting or out on the streets, because that's what they're going to do. They're just going to start rounding people up, and anybody that's protesting in the midst of this. Just like they're saying, well, you can't say something legal, like these congressmen and congresswomen are saying everything they say is legit. It's like it's legal, but you can't say it now because the country is on the verge of, a rebellion and a civil strife and unrest and collapse, right? I mean, it's kind of like yelling fire in a crowded in a crowded theater. It's against the law to do that, but what happens if there's smoke? Is it legal to do that? Well, I thought there was a fire. I mean, it looked like there was fire. There was smoke. Well, these congressmen and congresswomen are not saying that there's a fire, but they said if there is a fire and you sense that something is wrong, you have every obligation to not obey. So in a way, they're kind of warning people, but they're not really saying it that you're supposed to disobey. They're not telling people to disobey. Only lawful orders are to be obeyed. That's all they're saying. But why are they saying it at this moment? Because this is why he's saying it's seditious, because the country is in danger right now. We're literally on the brink of something big going down. So it's kind of like that little gray zone there. Like, are they really trying to warn? Or are they inciting fear? Are they inciting fear, or are they trying to warn about what's happening that's just about to, literally, the smoke is going to turn into fire? And they're trying to get people out before it actually engulfs the building. Do they really care about the building and the people, or are they just trying to cause panic? Which is it? Which is it? You got to make the choice, because this is a warning potentially for you as well. Maybe you should be looking more deeply into this, because if what they're really saying is true, it will affect you. And maybe you're not going to be ready because you're too busy believing all the hopium. You know what I mean? You're believing all the good, positive speak, and you're not really looking at really what's really going on. Okay, so don't let that catch you by surprise. All I'm saying is take a look around. There's something going on, children. What's that sound? Everybody look, what's going down? All right, let's continue.
Disabled person, what's a single parent doing? If 2 adult incomes are...
And by the way, they're also taking away millions of SNAP recipients' ability to receive any kind of food at this point because of not meeting requirements. So they're having new requirements now they're instituting. And I'm sure that a lot of that is, focused on the fraud, because there probably is a lot of people taking advantage of the system, which they shouldn't be. But what about those that are falling through the cracks because they don't meet certain requirements? And yeah, the economy is bad, but hey, it's going to get much worse. And yet you're kind of in that gray zone. Well, those people are going to suffer.
Causing me to struggle, and your advice is that I should go to a food pantry with 2 full adult incomes at my disposal. What about everybody else? Everybody else is still buying beef at $7 a pound when it's on sale. The non-sale price for ground beef right now is, in some places, $11.99 a pound. I live in America. I have a grocery store. Just where I live right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grocery stores in a mile radius of my home. I should be able to work, earn money, set a budget.
Okay, this brings up another conversation. Did you see the video that I posted about the social credit score that's already being implemented through AI in America, just like they are in China? And what that does is it basically, and they're doing this, they're making it very clear for everybody to see now in New York. Let's say you go and you buy something at a certain store. Well, it knows who you are and it adjusts the price accordingly. So if you're a rich person, it creates a higher price, or you're in a certain area, your price is going to be higher than it would be if you were in a low income area. It'll be lower. So they're basically adjusting the price according to who you are and what you're all doing, because the AI knows everything now. But this has been going on. It's just been undercover. And so a lot of areas don't know this is happening. So certain areas might have higher prices than other areas because you're in a rich area, so you're going to be paying a lot more. So this is why, the social credit score. Now, I'll show you that video in a minute, but this is maybe what we're seeing happening. That one area, $25 a pound or $30 a pound. Absolutely insanity.
Go to the grocery store and buy food in my budget and not feel like I'm going to scream at the end of it.
So I'm at Walmart, and I've never really cared too much about some of the prices of stuff going up, but this one right here, this one pisses me off. My favorite ramen noodles. Bro, I used to get this shit for 10 cents.
The price of things is just,
So ramen has gone up by 4 times, and that really pisses him off because he loves ramen. That's what he lives on, is ramen. Can't you tell? But hey, still, 4 times the price? What the heck? Get your social credit score, man. Catching up with you.
disgusting, actually. It's out of control. I'm sorry. Why is this $4? And that's the sale. $4. Are you joking? I saw a bag of rice for $10. Everybody knows rice is that's your cheap food. $10 and
It's called a staple. It's called a staple. It's supposed to be cheap. But you know what? We sold all of our reserves to China and Russia because they were preparing for global war. And we are living like there's no tomorrow. We're partying like it's 1999. We're just telling everybody, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we're going to die. That's the mindset of Americans. They're not thinking about tomorrow. They only think about right now. And the government understands that, and they don't care either, because I guess they've got islands all over where they can go hide when everything really does hit the fan, which is getting close. Because when global war begins, that's it. Russia's taking care of their populations, and China, I think, a lot better. Now, I'm not saying they're good to their people, because obviously all governments, I think, are corrupt in some way, but they are stockpiling more than I think that we were here, or at least we're aware of.
the bag was probably yay big. It's not a giant bag.
Okay, for anyone in Utah County, I gotta know.
Oh my gosh. Is this a dude, or is this just a gal that's got something wrong with their throat?
How was your electric bill this last month? Ours was $900. I compared it to last year's electric bill at this time. We used more electricity this time last summer, but our electricity bill was way less. Make it make sense. I am genuinely wondering how people are doing it and surviving. Truly. And we've actually been so conservative this summer, we are not using our AC nearly as much as we used to. We use energy-saving appliances, our lights are LED. What the heck?
$879.53 that I paid in energy usage in August for my Airbnb. That's 1 2-night stay. Look at this. What? All right, I need to get a grip on this.
What uses more power? All of the EVs in the United States or all of the data centers in the United States? I ask because we were told for years that the grid in the United States couldn't handle EVs. So right now in the United States, data centers consume 126 terawatt hours of electricity a year, which is roughly 17 or 18 times more power than EVs. As a matter of fact, data centers in the United States use about the same amount of power as all of the EVs on the entire planet. So I want you to think about this. because we know the rise in our electricity bills is directly tied to data centers and new data centers. By 2030, we expect the amount of power that data centers consume just in the United States will nearly triple. And to put that in perspective, by 2030, data centers in the United States will use more power than the power that is consumed by 120 countries around the world, including Saudi Arabia.
And this is why the story came out yesterday, I think it was, I saw it, where the U.S. government is buying 10 different nuclear reactors. I guess they're going to start using nuclear power to create more energy. And then remember when Trump came in, he said, hey, yeah, these data centers are going to have their own dedicated power grids because obviously civilian power grid of the country is unstable and not reliable. That's what he said. It's not reliable. Well, why don't you fix that first before you start doing AI stuff? Because it's an AI arms race. You know, whoever gets it first is going to be the most powerful country, right? It doesn't matter if it decimates your population in the process. It just matters who gets to the top first. You just got to step on everybody to get there.
Australia, the United Kingdom, Mexico, Indonesia, just our data centers will use more power than those entire countries. Now consider this, to meet all of that electricity demand, we need to add about 7,500 miles of high voltage transmission lines in the United States per year between now and 2030. In 2024, we added 350. In 2023, we added like 310. This year will probably be in the threes again. Yes.
That's why you need to get solar. You better generate your own power, some hydro, some solar. You better learn about battery technology if you can even get batteries, because when this all really hits the fan and the wars break out, there isn't going to be anything to buy. And people that have it are not going to sell it. They're going to keep it because they're going to be on their own grid. Okay, everybody else is off the grid, you know, and I'm going to tell you what, it won't work in the city because, you know, it's like you cooking a steak out in your backyard when everybody else around you is starving. They're going to all jump your fence and they're going to take your steak from you. So good luck on that one.
All of that means is that our grid cannot support the data centers we are building. But they're going to build it anyway. Yeah. The only question is, how much is it going to cost you on your electric bill? Especially by 2030.
Okay, so there we go on that. Now, the other video I wanted to show you about the social credit score, I just posted this today. You might want to take a look at this one.
A quote common.
Listen to this.
A quote commonly attributed to Benito Mussolini. Fascism should more properly be called corporatism because it is the merger of state and corporate power. Clearly explains the form of today's emerging fascist state in America. Last week we reported how the digital ID will be deployed by private companies and the customer's consent. The government doesn't need to mandate biometric ID, which would most likely be considered a violation of American rights. And so it outsources the mandate to private companies who are legally required to get consent, while the government is free to collect and utilize this data under legal immunity. Just like the COVID era, you will be free to give consent, but if you choose not to, you will have to leave the reservation and find a way to fend for yourself. This week, we will look at what is commonly known as the social credit score and its active deployment in the U.S.
I was about to order food on Uber Eats, and as I'm about to check out, I noticed this disclosure, which made me pause. I was like, huh? What do you mean an algorithm is determining the price that I'm paying for based on my personal data?
Communist China's social credit system is a compliance framework that was launched in 2014 with the official goal of building trust in society by punishing individual behavior. This system has allowed banks to shut off people's money and prevent them from traveling or leaving their neighborhood. it allows the Communist Chinese government the ability to condition people's behavior on an individual basis, and it is now being deployed in the United States. Here, it is being called algorithmic pricing and uses automated computer programs to dynamically set the price of goods and services in real time and on an individual basis. The algorithms are based on large amounts of data, including customer behavior, and can charge one individual more than another for the same product based on their willingness to pay and all of their personal data. Wherever you live in the US, you are likely being subjected to this social credit score system right now. But the only way you would know is if you reside in the state of New York. On November 10th, 2025, New York's Algorithmic Pricing Disclosure Act was launched. The Southern District of New York upheld the act as constitutional because it...
See, they're not telling the rest of the country that they're doing this. And this might be the reason why certain areas have very high prices on different items than other areas, right? Because they're implementing the area itself according to the algorithm, or, you know, eventually here now that everything comes online, when you start consenting to all this digital convenience, it's really a digital convenience that people are signing up to. It's the carrot first, right? The stick comes later. Once the majority of people, just like COVID, streamed in and willingly participated, then they went after the stragglers. Then they went after those who were not complying or not giving their consent. And even then, they had to give consent. Otherwise, they were still left out, and they were told, now you're just going to die. You know, now you're just not going to have access to the stores. But then they pulled back at the last minute, right? So you have to resist with your whole heart, mind, soul. There has to be a principle that's guiding you. Otherwise, you're going to comply when you start realizing, oh my gosh, this is going to lead to homelessness. This is going to lead to what? No food. What's going to happen next? I mean, like, well, you can bow down and kiss the ring and, worship by complying and giving your will and taking whatever mark they want to give you, or you can get ready to see the Lord, because that's what it's going to come down to. But here we go.
Compels private corporations to notify you that you are being charged based on personalized algorithmic pricing, which the courts define as dynamic pricing set by an algorithm that uses personal data. Personal data is defined as any data that identifies or could reasonably be linked directly or indirectly with a specific consumer or device. And the law does not consider whether that data was voluntarily provided or not, which means that every aspect of your life can be used to determine what a company charges you for their service. New York's Algorithmic Pricing Disclosure Act is the first of its kind, and we can expect to soon see the same in all 50 states. But one thing is for certain, the social credit score is now a real thing in America, and it's a safe bet that the carbon tax isn't far away. An AI-run cryptocurrency economy is the only solution being pursued by the United States government and the big banks, who see it as the only way to save America from its crippling debt and claim victory in the artificial intelligence arms race.
In AI 2027, what we depict happening is special economic zones with zero red tape. The government basically intervenes to help this whole thing go faster.
Because the promise of gains is so large that even though there are protesters massed outside these special economic zones who are about to lose their jobs as plumbers and be dependent on a universal basic income, the promise of, trillions of more in wealth is too alluring for governments to pass out. That's what
we guess. But of course, the future is hard to predict. But
yes.
Part of the reason why we predict that is that we think that at least at that stage, the arms race will still be continuing between the U.S. and other countries, most notably China.
Right.
And so if you imagine yourself in the position of the president, and the super intelligences are giving you these wonderful forecasts with amazing research and data backing them up, showing how they think they could, transform the economy in 1 year if you did X, Y, and Z. But if you don't do anything, it'll take them 10 years because of all the regulations. Meanwhile, China, it's pretty clear that the president would be very sympathetic to that argument,
Well, there you go. And really, it is about the arms race and about who's going to get there first. But in the process, you're sacrificing all your people, right? And this is why they say AI is dangerous, because it's really calling the shots. It's not so much humans or people that are of, average or above average intelligence. It's actually AI, machine learning and or alien, because a lot of people say it's sentient. I don't know how, you could, understand that part of it, because I think it is the ghost in the machine. It's just like a digital Ouija board. You're appealing to some other influence that's outside of human intelligence, right? And it's telling us what we need to do. It's telling us, do we believe it? Is it lying? Is it trying to destroy us as a species? Is it gonna weed out all the weak and destroy everybody because it doesn't have any real moral reasons or any kind of beliefs or adherence or allegiance to God and what truly what morality is based upon, spiritual law? Is it? No, it's not. It's not, because it's demonic. It's exactly what the Bible said it is. It says it right there in the book of Revelation, what the AI is. And it's a mark, and it's sentient. It says that the image begins to speak. And then what does that image do once it becomes sentient? Because at one point it's just an image. And then it all of a sudden begins to speak. And then it causes the whole world, both great and small, rich and poor, bond and free, to take a mark so that you can be tracked, so you can be traced. You can't buy or sell without it. Remember, it says you can't buy or sell without it. And then if you don't take it and you don't submit to it, what does it say? Then it says it's going to kill you. Then it says you're going to be outside of the reservation. Then you're going to be hunted down, and you will probably be put in some kind of a camp or executed or something, because that's what the biblical prophecies teach about the latter day. And by the way, there's so many teachings or so many prophecies, and we've been talking about this. We've been talking and getting in depth on this topic that are lining up right now under Trump's administration like never before. And I've been a student of prophecy for many, many decades. Not many, but at least 4. Because that's how long. I said that's many. That's a lot of decades, and I've never seen prophecy. I've never understood it to come to pass the way it is now in the last few years, and everything's lining up. I've never ever really, there was one point where I thought Obama probably was the Antichrist, but I'm going to tell you what, Obama was the forerunner. Obama was the preparation for where Trump is. They're connected. Trump and Obama were connected. And so I believe that we entered into that period right at 2008 with Obama's advent and what he prepared for where Trump is now. It's all been in preparation. Now, Clinton's actually can argue opened the door. They were kind of like, they really set the stage for China's rise to great prominence and power and influence, technologically stealing everything that we have and rebranding it and making it cheaper and then reselling it back to us, stealing all of our intellectual property rights and everything else, and then all of a sudden becoming this powerhouse that now is surpassing our ability to do things. And then now, and the rise back of Russia, because at one point they were weakened to the point where we were feeling sorry for them. We were giving them money. We were like, trying to bring stability. And now they're surpassing us in many other ways because they understand what's at stake here. And they understand that the motivations of our desperate country right now, because we are in a desperate situation. And when desperate times happen, when countries are desperate or people are desperate measures, they start doing things desperately, and that even includes militarily. So what do you do when you have a desperate, cornered, dangerous and dying animal in a corner? Well, you better be careful, because it's going to lash out and strike. And so I think that's kind of the way the world is looking at the U.S. right now. That's the way I see it. I think they're just looking at us as on the brink, on the edge, and Trump is a very good indicator of what's going on in the mindset of the average American. And the average American would say that's a TDS interpretation, but I would beg to differ on that, because there's no reason to really even have an emotional stake in this. It's just facts. It's just looking at the stats. just be an analyst of numbers and of what is reality, empirical evidence, and not to mention the spiritual dimension of that back end, spiritual understanding. Prophetically, it's all fitting. You have to wonder, because I'm going to just tell you this: God's universe is very perfectly tuned and timed. Everything is perfect. Everything about who you are as a person is all happening with perfect precision, and God knows every detail. And what you need as the medicine to get you right. You might be having a terrible event happening in your own life for there's a reason. Just like the children of Israel were out in the wilderness, they didn't like the fact that they had to eat manna. Maybe it didn't taste good. They didn't like the fact that they were itinerant. They had to, travel without a home, basically. And they were dependent on a walk where they never knew where they were going to be the next moment. When they had to get up and when they had to move and when they had to sit there and wait, they didn't understand it. They didn't like it. They wanted to go back to their old comfortable ways, being a slave in Egypt. But that was a part of the medicine to get Egypt out of their soul. They had left Egypt. They were free of Egypt, but they still had to get Egypt out of their soul. And sometimes the hardships that you go through are a part of what is required. And if you don't learn from those hardships, then you die in the wilderness and you don't end up going into the promise. You don't end up entering into the fullness of what you were, what you could have attained. And so we have to have the right mindset and have the right understanding and attitude. This is why we get into the spiritual things, because it is a part of what's happening in our natural world. It's all connected. There is no disconnect in my mind. And so everybody should be taking note of these political times that are prophetic times. It's not just political. I used to have a channel called Political Seer, and I also had one called Prophetic Seer. It's like, it's actually one and the same. I mean, the things that are happening in our world, you could overlay principles of Scripture that predicted things to come, and you can see how it perfectly is lining up. Everything's lining up. So be a student of Scripture as well and practice. It's not just knowing it, it's actually doing it, because the only way you can really know it anyway is by doing it, by living it, by practicing it. Now let's get into some of the other news stories that are coming out here. Oh, I was thinking about this dude here. Let's take a look at this guy here. I wanted to listen to this commentary on what's happening with this event with Trump saying, that these representatives, I think one of them was a senator, former military, intel people. The take on this is this is a very important moment here, and the way this is going to be handled. So just take a listen to this really quick, and then we'll move on. I got some other information very important to share with you.
Lawful orders. Every single
refuse an illegal order, which
but
is they're suggesting, Nancy, that
the orders were illegal, is what she says. Now, she's not wrong, because the 6 Democrats, Elisa Slotkin, Mark Kelly, Chris Deluzio, Maggie Goodlander, and so on, put out a video telling the troops not to follow illegal orders under Trump. But listen to how they framed it, okay? This administration is pitting our military intelligence community against American citizens. Bro, what planet are these people living on? They're talking like they're resistance fighters in some dystopian fiction. And meanwhile, the guy they're calling dangerous is literally the commander-in-chief they're sworn to serve under. But here's the bigger picture, okay? Whether you agree, disagree, or not, this is how systems collapse. When politicians start publicly telling troops to refuse orders. That's not politics. That is what you call psychological preparation for chaos. It's conditioning. That messaging, the world's most powerful military, that they can pick and choose commands. Think about this if it was under Biden, right? How many people would just want to walk off under Biden? What about the hokey pokey? where troops got kicked out. So you can't have it both ways. That's the thing. Like, you have to be a realist. Whether you agree with the orders or not, are they illegal orders? Okay. And this is how countries implode from the inside. But trust me, this is just a warm-up. Because right after they accused Trump of being dangerous, something even more insane happened. The Department of Justice, led by none other than Pam Bondi, did a full reversal on the Epstein case. Okay. Just got signed off on by everybody. But let me remind you, just a few months ago, I looked it up, August 2024. I did a video about it that day because I was upset. The DOJ said they found no reason to reopen anything related to Epstein. There was no new information, no wrongdoing, nothing to see here. Kash Patel sat right there in front of Congress and said that he trafficked women, or young women, to nobody, children to no one. Fast forward to right now, a reporter asked Pam Bondi why they are suddenly reopening the Epstein investigations. And she damn near hit glitches on the camera.
You will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information that new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward, and we will continue to provide maximum transparency.
We have new information, followed the law, additional information, new information that has come forward. It was like watching a CIA handler whisper through an earpiece while unplugging the internet. She couldn't answer what had changed. That's the biggest question. What had changed? You closed the case. Kash Patel sat before Congress, said, no wrongdoing. Wouldn't say what the new information was.
Yeah, it looks so stupid. I mean, like I said, when it came out, I was like, what in the world just happened? It looks so like utterly incompetent, and it's just like gaslighting it. Like that's the word that's why I put the thumbnail on this video of a gaslighting administration, because that's what they're doing. They're gaslighting everybody. And most people know it that are smart. Now, a lot of people that want to just play, the power game and an ego trip, they're probably so blinded by their own pride they don't see it. But see, that's the key between smart people and people that aren't too smart, is they're blinded by their own, it's like they don't want to, don't confuse me with the facts. I want to believe this, and this is the only thing that's going to save me. You know what I mean? And they're all consumed about how do we get to the end goal. They don't care about what's right. They just want to get to the end goal the easiest way they can. Doesn't matter if we're stepping on 1 million people to get there, as long as we're safe, as long as we're secure. That's in God's economy, that don't work. You will be in the hot place if you do that, okay? And that will be your eternal destiny. So short-term gains do not equal your eternal destiny. What does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and yet loses his soul? It profits you nothing, right? That is the actual answer to that scripture. Rhetorical question. It profits you zero. So you can justify it. The means does not justify the end. You can justify it all you want. But you need to get to where you're going the right way. That's why I'm not selling out and doing all these other things that a lot of other YouTubers are doing. I'm trying to do it the right way, even if it's costing us a lot of, money and heartache and suffering. I could have compromised, but I can't. I have to do it the right way. How am I going to tell everybody what's the message of salvation and true understanding of what the Bible teaches, the gospel, if I'm not doing it? If I'm going the wrong way myself? I might say I believe the gospel. I might say that, I might mouth some scriptures, but if my lifestyle is contradicting what I'm saying, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't profit me anything. It's just hypocrisy. And that's the problem with the church today. They're hypocrites. There's too many hypocrites in the pulpit. Promoting some message that doesn't connect. People know instinctively that they're liars, that they're hypocrites, because they can see it by the way their lifestyle, the way that they live. And that's not what we can't be like that. We have to be identified. And this is the only way. Jesus said very clearly, the poor, the needy, this is how you know you're getting in. Remember when he said, well done, because you took care of the least of these? You visited those that were in prison. You took care of the poor. You gave a drink to those who were thirsty. This is why you get to go in, because you identified with those who were in need and those who were poor in heart and spirit and those who were, mourning. You wept with those who wept and you rejoiced. You took care of the people that God called you to, not going after catering to the rich, those who don't, that are going to take advantage of everybody and everybody except themselves. You don't want to cater to them because they're going to do the same thing to you. If it benefits them, they would do the same thing to you. So why do you sit there and try to curry favor? Why are you trying to have that mindset that is so opposed in the scripture where it says you're a respecter of persons? No, you put those who are of lesser importance over your interests. You put them above yourself, right? And then you're going to have the blessing of God. Until then, nope, you're going to end up finding out the hard way if you keep going that way. So here we go. This is the Daily Mail. I wanted to show you guys this one here. Look at this one. This is an exclusive. Terrifying internet vulnerability exposed by latest global blackout. And by the way, that probably was a lot worse than what they're telling us because they don't want to panic people. And I'm sure it was some kind of a opening salvo for a kinetic conflict that might be coming. Because many times when you have this type of thing, cyber attacks, it's in preparation and they're testing. Either they're testing to see if we're able to come back from vulnerable attacks or we were actually attacked. But we didn't really, they told the public, oh, it was just a glitch, a software glitch. No, that doesn't happen. Software glitches like that don't just happen. These companies have to test everything before they go online. This wasn't a software glitch. So why this Cloudflare crash is now raising serious concerns. So it says here, for a company that promises to build a better internet, the drama was mortifying. To millions around the world who perhaps unwittingly depend on Cloudflare services, the blackout was unnerving. The Silicon Valley firm that is the foundation of a fifth of all websites worldwide was brought to its knees on Tuesday morning. The issue was first detected at 6:48 a.m. Eastern Time. Internet users experienced outages as maddening connectivity issues. Elon Musk's X and Sam Altman's ChatGPT and Spotify and Shopify were among the sites grinding to a halt. More essential organizations such as New Jersey Transit System, New York City's emergency management offices, and the French National Railway Company were also reportedly impacted. By 9:42 a.m., the Cloudflare said a fix had been implemented. And by 12:44 p.m., the service was fully restored. Dane Kelch, Cloudflare's chief technology officer, whose X bio boasts, quote, "I help invent the future," was groveling in his apology. He said, quote, "I won't mince words. Earlier today, we failed our customers and the broader internet," he said, adding that it caused real pain and the issue impact it caused and time resolution is unacceptable. So it took too long, it had too big of an impact, and it was very bad. It says he blamed Cloudflare's system crash on a routine configuration change, saying it cascaded into a broad degradation to our network and other services. This was not an attack, he said categorically. However, even though there is no evidence that Cloudflare was the victim of a cybercrime, eyebrows were raised. Quote, "I'm very suspicious when I see something like this that doesn't really smell right." James Knight, senior principal at Digital Warfare, which helps companies identify and shore up online vulnerabilities, told the Daily Mail. Knight, who has 30 years of experience in cyber threats, included classified work as an ethical hacker, and they do that to try to understand vulnerabilities in software where they'll tell you to hack the system on purpose so that it can give them understanding about how to, repel nefarious attacks. So he's an ethical hacker. He told the Daily Mail that these giant companies have an inordinate amount of redundancy when it comes to a lot of these things, with multiple backups in place. He believes that any update would likely have been trialed multiple times on a test site before being done live. And that's true. I even said that when it happened. Although Cloudflare is hardly a household name, its security and that of companies like it affect us all. A popular meme doing the rounds on Tuesday showed a teetering stack of blocks labeled the entire internet, with Cloudflare depicted as two tiny matchsticks propping up the entire structure. Cloudflare essentially serves as the door which all of us pass when we use one of their many client websites. Internet users, and by the way, our redundant backup system with our new site that's coming online with the SMS alerts, as well as push notifications on our new app, which we're putting money into right now to get going and up and running. We believe that the internet is going to be affected. There's going to also be a lot of this restrictions, everything else that they want us to submit to be able to use platforms, not to mention censorship is coming. And they might allow people to stay online, but they're going to have to submit to all kinds of invasive, biometric, giving up of data, giving up of information of yourself to the powers that be. And many people don't want to do that. And I included, okay? I think that people need to understand what's coming and how it's going to invade. So we're setting things up separately right now. We're paying for it, but we're setting it up for all of us so that we can continue to get information on what to do and how to go about navigating around and trying to mitigate any direct impacts right off the bat. Maybe we'll have a little more insulated, environment that gives us a little more time to make choices that are going to be glorifying to God. This is really what it's all about. We're setting up our church as well online, and we want you all to be a part of that. I can't launch it for probably another week or so. So we have to wait till certain things migrate, and it's all coming online. And I don't want to launch it too soon before I've got everything in order. And I have to learn everything. Okay, I'm learning a lot of stuff right now. So for those who want to be a part of this, and by the way, I'm not going to get into all that because let's just wait on that and make sure that. But anyway, Cloudflare's gatekeeper position makes it a tempting target. Oh, and this is another thing I was going to do. I was going to tell everybody out there that has, and we've always been a vanguard, and tip of the spear, if you will. I know there's others that say the same thing, but we've kind of been out in front, in the forefront of trending things going all the way back to 2008. And we spearheaded a lot of the things that are happening now online, especially with live streaming. But I'm going to tell people this right now that are streamers, that are people that use YouTube and other platforms like Telegram, Facebook. If you're out there, you better get something alternative, or you're going to have to bow to keep your income coming in. If this is what you rely upon and you depend on to get out information and to be a journalist or whatever you're trying to do, you're going to have to submit to biometric markers in order to even stay online. And they're going to do it slowly. They're going to roll it out. They're going to probably stop your monetization. They're going to stop until you submit to this. It's obviously, not mandatory, but if you don't do it, you won't be able to use the platform or maybe certain features or whatever. Okay. So it is actually mandatory if you still want to have an income. So you better start planning for that. Are you going to give into it? Because if you are, then you don't need a plan. You just take whatever they give you. Just like that one preacher who recently died. He was like, and a lot of people respected him. John MacArthur. He said, well, they say they got to take this if you want to fly, John. You're going to put that in your veins. Well, I take all kinds of other things that I don't know what it is. So why not? I got to get to where I got to go. So you don't want to know what's in it. You don't want to know what you're putting into your body. You don't want to have no informed consent. You don't want to be able to look and try to research what's inside of these things. Okay, the same thing goes for right now. You just want to take whatever they're going to give you, and you're going to comply and yield to it because you don't see the big ramifications on how it's going to affect your future as well as your eternal future. But I think it's just opening the door for all that surveillance and everything else they're wanting to do to us to go along with it. And people that don't understand it, they don't care. But I understand where it's going, and everybody's raising alarms. Even those people that have rolled out this technology have been raising alarms. Why wouldn't you listen to the alarms? There's a reason why they're sounding the alarm. But they're so blinded by the people in the industry are so blinded by the fact that they're making income, they're gaining some kind of advantage. And supposedly they're going to be in control of the whole world if they can just get out ahead of it. It doesn't matter how that's going to affect the rest of humanity. They may, in fact, lose control. They even acknowledge that could be a scenario. We lose control. It's like there's a possibility that nukes will destroy the whole planet one day. Well, the same thing with AI. We're literally opening Pandora's box, and we're just hoping that we don't destroy ourselves in the process. For anyone wanting to land a blow on global commerce, communication, okay, so it says in September, the company announced that they had thwarted the largest ever distributed denial of service, or DDoS attack, in which criminals bombarded Cloudflare's system with a battery of requests trying to make their websites keel over. I remember that. The attack saw 11.5 terabytes per second of data, which is equivalent to downloading Netflix's entire content library every second, hurled at Cloudflare for 35 seconds. That digital assault came just 3 months after the previous record DDoS attack of 7.3 terabytes per second. And here is the outages, as you can see. Knight, this guy who's the friendly hacker that understands how things work, claimed very few actors are capable of such massive hacking attacks or events. It could be the Chinese trying to bring down companies to affect their profit margins, or Russia, which is obviously interested in striking back against those involved in Ukraine, said Knight, describing the motivations of hostile foreign nations. There's no question about it. Cyber warfare units are really absolutely incredible. He said, if this were a cyber attack, which we don't have any evidence of at this moment, then what's the motivation? It's either monetary or power at the end of the day, said Knight. I wonder who really could be behind this? Oh, I don't know. Could it be Satan? Taking a little cue from the church lady. For all you that don't know, it's a little skit. But anyway, the Cloudflare outage the Cloudflare outage also comes hot on the heels of a dramatic blackout of Amazon Web Service in September. The internet behemoth issued a similar explanation. They too, they said, had simply updated their systems and accidentally caused a major spectacular crash. Amazon was not the victim of a cyber attack, they claimed. That was another claim that they at the time said it didn't sound correct. So this is the second time this has happened in a very short period of time. You got to kind of wonder if there's something else going on. At the end of October, analytics firm CyberCube announced that the cost of Amazon outage could run into the $581 million range. A lot of these things have been coming up, said Knight. I'm just seeing the pattern. We've got Cloudflare. There's just one thing went wrong, and all of a sudden the whole system's down. In general, Knight says the U.S. government has good reasons to tell the U.S. companies to conceal the extent of any possible cyber attacks if they can be seen as undermining U.S. national security and global stability. Knight said this was unlikely to be the end of the digital turmoil and warned Americans to brace for further outages. Could it be that we're going to see critical infrastructure go down and, I don't know, that scenario of that dream that Dana Coverstone had that many people said could potentially be what we're looking at here coming into the winter period. For those who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying. Just do your research on that. But anyways, in the meantime, guys, God bless. If there's anything else that I'm missing here, I hope I'm not missing too much here because I do have to skedaddle very quickly. I could go on and on, but I can't for right now. If something major comes up, I will definitely come in and let you know. But for right now, I think we've gone through enough. In the meantime, Bitcoin has crashed. Let me see what Bitcoin is really quick before we go. Bitcoin is still down. Let's see, it's 85,000 per coin. That's pretty dang low. Wow, that is just absolutely... It's gone down in just today. Well, today is backed up, but in the last 5 days, it's gone down 8,000. It's lost 8.89% in 5 days. In the last, since October 6th, it's literally lost almost $40,000 per coin. That's a huge shave to somebody that got in when Trump and his sons were pumping up Bitcoin, telling everybody to get in. That's about the time I told everybody, you guys got to be careful, because this sounds like to me like they're wanting people to get in for a reason, and it's probably on the verge of going to crash. It's kind of like telling everybody, hey, come on in, the water's warm, while they're getting out because they're fixing to make a bunch of money on the dump. And they're going to buy back in when it goes really far down. How far down will it go? I don't know. Maybe it's going to go up a little bit more, a little bit later here, just a little bit, and everybody's going to think this is the upswing. Everybody puts all their money into it, and then it's going to crash again, even further than 85. And that's when they're going to start really shaving people. But who knows? Who knows where this goes? I don't know. This could be something more serious. Who knows? It could be the prelude of war breaking out. I mean, the Dow was down today too, right? Dow Jones. What did Dow Jones look like? It was down almost 400 points today. The Dow. And what did gold do? That's a good indicator. Gold prices are still pretty high, 4,054. Down just a little bit, but still holding pretty strong. Not too much at all, really. I mean, for the last 6 months, gold has been up 721%. That's That's a pretty good amount of increase in 6 months. But if you look at Bitcoin in the last 6 months, you're looking at 21,000 decrease. But it had gone up in the last month and a half to 124. That's why it's 40,000. But in the last 6 months, you've seen a $21,000 decrease in Bitcoin. So it's huge. There's something going on big time. And I've told people to be careful about Bitcoin because, it's very dangerous. It's a very volatile, dangerous situation if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know people. You better be on the inside. And not too many people are, so don't even risk it. Did you see how they put warning posts on the Mexican beaches and said that this beach is now the U.S. This is U.S. What did they put? They put these are claims that warning signs posted on the beaches of Mexico saying that you can't go through here. This is according to U.S. State Department or military. And so the military of Mexico goes out and they pull up all of these signs out of the sand. So who put them there? The U.S. military is putting it on Mexican beaches, saying that they can't come through here. It's absolutely crazy. So there's video footage of this, them taking these signs out. I don't know, man. Something very crazy. Are we going to invade Mexico? Or are we about to be invaded by the cartels? Who knows? Or even Hezbollah or Iran, because all of these things are all interconnected. We're getting close, guys. And like I said, if I see something really imminent, I will go live. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to us in every way. Here real soon, I want to make sure I get you guys this information really quickly. We are going to be putting back out an SMS alert system. We probably won't use it unless it's a major emergency. But we want everybody attached to this SMS alert notification. But we also will have enabled on our app push notifications, and that's something that isn't going to cost us. That'll happen all the time. Whenever we go live, you'll get a push notification, or you'll get some kind of an update on information that we're putting out that's crucial. And we're going to kind of prepare for all the things that are coming. It's going to hit Telegram, it's going to hit YouTube, it's going to hit Facebook, it's going to hit all the major social media sites. We want to try to insulate ourselves from being muted and or having to capitulate to their, technocratic, imposition of their own dystopia upon us. I want to try to in some way distance myself from that as much as possible and prepare for it. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm also telling everybody out there that's listening, that has been watching us, this is coming for you as well. And you better prepare, in kind, and get ready. So in the meantime, God bless. Thank you for your support. Please support us in every way. Get behind our message. Become a part of our gathering. Become a part of our fellowship. We have a church gathering. If you're a believer, become a part of our members. Become a part of our subscriber base. And share the message everywhere you can. Help us to get it out. It's very important that people see what's going on. There's safety in numbers. We need to grow our channel, okay? Let's grow it. Let's get it big. And we're going to be helping people. We're going to be putting people in touch with people that can help. There's a lot of people that do have means that watch us that could probably help out those who don't. But we're going to be in the context of a loving community that's definitely trying to reach out and help others. So we got a lot of ideas, but we want to help implement those. If you want to help implement those, get in touch with us and be a part of what we're doing. But like I said, we're launching in the next week. So everything is not launched yet. You won't know all the details until that's happening. So details are coming, okay? Stay tuned. God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.